What's up YouTube, KidMoto22 here, and today I did an install for my original garage brake pedal. Now, why would we want to watch an install video for a brake pedal? Because they're typically pretty simple. This one's a little bit trickier, and so I thought it'd be worth it to just give you guys a little bit of a picture tutorial of what I did. So this isn't going to actually be a video tutorial that we've seen in the past. It's a picture tutorial, and you'll understand why when you see some of the pictures and why I did it this way. So let's get to that install right now. Welcome back YouTube, KidMoto22 here, and if you watch the intro, you'll know that we're doing a brake pedal install from Original Garage Moto. These guys do great parts. If you've seen any of my other stuff, you know that I have their floorboards and their passenger floorboards and their shifter knob. Great stuff that these guys have. It's a great company, great people. If you watch the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast or listen to our podcast, you know that we have the Original Garage Moto guys on there, so you can always go ahead and give that a listen. Really great company, and they make some really great products. So let's go ahead and talk about this brake pedal. So if you know anything about some of the baggers, specifically my year, which is a 2017, the brake pad on the brake pedal is pretty large. And I'll show you what the original setup looks like. So I'm just going to be throwing some pics up as I kind of explain this, and you'll be able to see, you know, kind of what we're talking about. So the stock brake pedal has the 3 lines in it or whatever. It matches the floorboards and the original, some of the original stuff that's on there. Once you take that brake pedal off, you have a pretty large brake pad. Original Garage Moto makes their brake pedals that go on there, and that brake pad's actually a little bit too big. So you actually need to cut that down. Now, there's some options that you have for cutting it down. You can take your air cleaner off and you can cut it down right on there. You can use a cutting wheel. I don't have a cutting wheel, so I use essentially a scroll saw to cut mine, and I ended up taking my the entire brake pedal off to do that. And so you'll see in this picture here, it looks like that there's just a 1 bolt to remove that brake pedal. But what you can't see just by looking at it is right behind there, there's a little lip that's on the back of your brake pedal that attaches to your actuator that goes into your brake reservoir that is really what activates your brakes, okay? And in that there is a clevis pin with a cotter pin on it. And that has to be removed off of the back of that attachment. And I'll show a picture up here where you guys can see kind of where that's at. It's behind your exhaust. It's kind of tough to get to. So really what I had to do was take my, you're going to take the bolt off that's on the outside there. And then you're also going to take your floorboard off. And then the front part that the front kind of peg for your floorboard, I just loosened that and turned that down so I could get to it. The next thing I did is I took the 2 bolts out that are right by the brake reservoir so that the brake reservoir could move a little bit more freely in the position that it was in. So I'll throw some pictures up of kind of what that area is, and you'll see the 2 bolts that I'm speaking of, where you can see that I had to take those 2 bolts out to move that brake reservoir. I got back, I bent the pin up and removed both the clevis pin and the cotter pin, and you know, have that. So I have my brake pedal removed and the clevis pin and cotter pin all, you know, kind of separated. Once I did that, in the kit that Original Garage Moto sends you, they send you a template, and that template you essentially put at the very close edge of where your brake pedal's at, and that just sticks right down. That template shows you where you're going to drill your drill holes for the 4 screws that go into the top of your brake pedal. It also shows you how you would cut down the oversized brake pad. So what I did was I drilled the 4 holes in there, and then I used my scroll saw and cut that down, okay? So once I cut that down, I took the sticker off, and then I bought a can of Rust-Oleum Gloss Black. And the reason why I did that is once you cut it down, you have that raw metal there, and there's you know, lots of opportunity for moisture, and I didn't want there to be any opportunity to develop any type of rust on that brake pedal. And so I just sprayed that Gloss Black Rust-Oleum. It doesn't really matter to me if it's a perfect match to the other colors on there, because it's really underneath where that brake pedal is going to be installed at. Then essentially it's just 4 bolts that brake pedal goes right over top of that brake pad. All of that area that I cut and all of the area that I sprayed is all hidden underneath that original Garage brake pedal. It matches the honeycomb design of the floorboards that I have and absolutely looks fantastic. It has a little bit of that more aggressive knurling on the top, so you don't have to worry about your foot slipping off, especially if you get in any rainy weather, anything like that. It's really good for, you know, if your boots are slippy or anything like that, you're really going to get a good grip on there. And, you know, what can I say? The original Garage Moto stuff looks really great, and this looks great on my bike. So that's pretty much what I have for that. I'll show you now a picture of it mounted, and then of course with it mounted with my my front lower back on my bike, and you'll be able to get a good idea of what that looks like. So that's about what the install entails. It's really not that it's really not that complicated. It's just a little bit tedious to kind of take all those pieces apart and put it back together. So the install, from my perspective, took a little bit of time, but it wasn't difficult. I decided not to do the cutting on my bike for two reasons. The first reason is I was using a scroll saw and I wasn't going to be able to fit into the area I needed to fit it into. Second thing is there is quite a bit of debris that's created, you know, metal shavings and stuff, and I didn't want to have to cover and tape and everything over my motor and air cleaner and everything else to make sure that I wasn't going to get any debris in there. It was easier for me just to take that brake pedal off and you know, cut it on my workbench. Now the cool thing about this is even though I cut that off, if I wanted to put the original brake pedal back on there, that will still fit on this brake pad and still fit in the slot where that goes. And so it's kind of a no harm, no foul kind of situation. I don't see me changing this out. I would, you know, probably leave it on there because it just fits the aesthetic of the bike. And, you know, like I said, I don't see me changing it back to the stock for any reason. But, you know, that's about what we have for you guys today. So I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked my explanation and a little bit different view of how I did this install. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. I'll put a link to another video up over here or over here that you guys might like. And always, you guys can subscribe. That's a hard word for me today. Over here or over here. And subscriptions are always free. So that's it. Again, like I said, I got no more for you guys today. This is Kid Moto. I'm out.